answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 and the conclusion. We are going to conclude the investigation, which, let me make one thing perfectly clear, that this is not my investigation into the claims that Paul Kidd, Dockidds, has spent 20 years in combat as a United States Marine recon. This is an investigation by RC, a retired Marine Corps combat recon veteran who asked that I present his findings and information regarding Paul Kidd's military recon status. So without further ado, let's go to part 2. Continuing on with my correspondence with RK in part 2. Dave, sorry, but I neglected to mention that Kidd displays naval parachute insignia, which required basic airborne training at U.S. Army schools, and to acquire the Navy Gold Wings requires 5 additional jumps from U.S. Navy aircraft. This is usually associated with being a member of or qualifying to serve with an operational Special Forces unit. The qualifications as basic Navy diver requires even more extensive training time, and this is also inconsistent with what Kidd claims. I am in contact with former Force Recon Marines who served prior to 2006 on this issue, and they are saying Kidd could not have earned the awards he displays and have been where he claims. I asked them to consider if he was an HM serving in a recon unit, and they said no chance. No one recalls serving with a Doc Paul Kidd, and they are tired of me asking questions. They think Kidd is just another YouTube nut and not worth the time exposing. I have exhausted my contacts, I think, and this is still early on in our correspondence. Let's move on to the next communication with RK. RK shares this with me now. Dave, I would look at his recent vacation video first, in which he claims the boonie hat he wears is the same one he was issued in the Marines and wore during the Panama invasion. He almost lost it during a rogue wave swimming with a hat and sunglasses. None of the hats are Marine issue. Now he claims miracles, including the plane being hit by lightning as he returned. Yes, I would publish a video showing these findings so far. It might provoke him to release more claims or info in response. On the other hand, he may just sit calm. May just sit calm, believing we are trying to attack him. I have not seen anyone confront him on his military claims. Let's do it, RK. Let's move on. Our next communication is as follows. Ask Paul Kidd what boot camp platoon he graduated from in the 80s. None of the guys I have questioned remember him, and this is a guy with a size 15 triple wide foot. My platoon was 2054. The USMC is a smaller place than you think. Senior Chief Shipley is doing well with those falsely claiming to be U.S. Navy SEALs, but there are many others claiming to be Green Berets and U.S. Marine Force Recon. I trust Shipley and also know that if Kidd claims recon status, it would have taken almost 3 years to complete such training even at that time, and his age reveals it. I would bet that Chief Shipley has the context and data to show if Paul Kidd is a fake recon Marine or not. You can check me also while you're at it. Kidd is nothing but a lying religious bully. Let's go on to our next communication. Moving right along quickly so we can be done with this and I can get back to the ministry. Dave, go ahead with it and use my emails to document that Kidd was not, all capital letters, not a U.S. Marine from 1980 to 1990. And show what I have sent you, or actually read it to explain how I established that. If you refer to me, please use Marine Veteran, who served 2nd Recon Battalion. I was also an infantry assaultman with the 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines, and deployed with the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit, Special Operations Capable, MEUSOC, and state that I am submitting a FOIA request to NPRC for his military service history. If he were ever to complete the training to qualify as SARC and be assigned as a corpsman, to a force recon unit. His records will indicate that. We will see. RK. Let's move along. Continuing on with our conversation and bringing this forward as requested by RK. Let's continue on. Dave, I am writing to update you on my research thus far. I had a free consultation with a private investigator in Grand Rapids area, but did not go any further because of the cost, so I have continued on my own. I was able to connect some of the previous addresses listed for KID with dates, as I have, and I can confirm this. These are the same addresses that I have uncovered in my own research. I then began listing these in chronological order in an effort to establish whether they were consistent with active service in the Marines. My findings are inconsistent with his claims to be a recon Marine. They are, however, consistent with his service in the United States Navy as a hospital mate HM. Marines refer to them as corpsmen or doc. In fact, my findings are consistent with someone being a Navy HM and attaining the rank of E-5 to E-7. I can verify this because a former address for KID indicates he was accepted, attended the Navy Surface Force Independent Duty Corpsman School, SFIDCS, at Portsmouth, Virginia, and I have the same. I can confirm this. I have uncovered the same research. Portsmouth, Virginia, in November of 1989. The SFIDC is a 12-month comprehensive course that allows the graduate to perform duties independent of an MD. If KID completed the course, he would have been reassigned in November or December of 1990. I also found that he was stationed at Naval Base Annapolis, Maryland, in a Navy health clinic at 250 Wood Road, and lived in base housing at 4 Halligan Road, across the bay from the Naval Academy. Another address at Tarawa Terrace, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and this is where I once lived, indicated he lived in base housing there for E1 to E5, but I have not found a date for this. I can verify KID was in Virginia in December of 1995 because he was issued a ticket for speeding 47 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone on December 21st, 1995, that was dismissed in court on April 17th, 1996, and at an address of 130 Gordon Johnston Drive, number C, Fort Sheridan, Illinois, shows a date of 2001. Fort Sheridan closed in 1993 and is now a reserve training base associated with a town opposite Grand Rapids on Lake Michigan. You will be more familiar with that than myself, and I'm very familiar with this. And my findings, my research, go right along with RK's. There is also an address in Grand Rapids dated 1998. I have found no evidence to suggest he was ever a U.S. Marine or that he served 20 years, 1982 to 2002. My findings are consistent with someone who enlisted in the United States Navy as an HM, completed initial and advanced training, and was assigned to a U.S. Marine unit or clinic at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, then was stationed at Annapolis, Maryland, and eventually qualified to attend SFIDC, Portsmouth, Virginia. KID has published a video in the past few days claiming to have been a U.S. Marine during the invasion of Panama, December 1989 through January of 1990. My findings could refute his claim to Panama because of the SFIDCS reference November 89 through November 1990, and is claimed to have served 20 years exclusively as a recon Marine, or mostly as. I have a year of birth, 1962, but require a day and month to submit another request to NPRC. That has been taken care of and to date, so that is no longer an issue. In addition, and the request has been sent through, in addition, the request should stipulate both U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps as branches served. Let me continue on. His display of medals, etc., include the Navy emblem, but are all exclusively Marine awards. If KID was a Navy HM and served and was discharged honorably, he should be proud of that. And I agree, he should be very proud. We should be proud of that. All Marines love corpsmen, but somewhere he has become obsessed with being a recon Marine. I think something went wrong with Kidd in around 89-90. The lack of associative addresses to North Carolina or California after 1990, and especially the speeding ticket in Virginia in 1995 indicate he was not likely to have been a Marine assigned to a deployable infantry or recon MARSOC unit until 2002. Apologize, I'm on AOL. Please have other vets you trust review my findings. I always feel that I may be missing something and that I am alone in researching this. I always give the veteran the benefit of the doubt until I can absolutely prove that they are lying about this or embellishing what they claim. Sincerely, RK. All right, I am going to, for the time being, and I want to stress this, for the time being, conclude here in part 2. But I want you to understand that this is just the very tip of the iceberg in regards to the correspondence and communication back and forth, the sharing of research. In RK's investigation of the claims of Paul Kidd, that he claims to be a 20 years in combat as a United States Marine recon. Now, if my hand is forced, I will continue on with more videos. But I want to get back to God's ministry, our ministry here. I want to say this in closing, but Paul Kidd, if you were in fact a Navy corpsman, an HM, that is something to be very proud of. That is something that I would be very proud of. And our question is not that you served in the United States military, that you're a veteran. And we acknowledge that and we thank you for your service. But to be a Navy corpsman and to portray yourself as a seasoned combat Marine recon veteran with the attitude that you have, with your problem with aggression and anger, is a slap in the face to every United States Marine that ever wore the uniform. In closing, my final words. Paul Kidd has made the statement that I just can't understand this. That I am out to hurt the disabled vet. That I hate the disabled veterans. When every day, just about every single day of my life with my ministry is out there taking care of homeless veterans who fought for this country, meeting their needs as best as I can with this ministry, letting them know that they're not alone, riding with the Patriot Guard riders, standing the flag lines at funerals for veterans who gave it all, and to comfort the families. So I take offense to that. Thank you everyone for watching. Leave me comments.